After 2 days of steady rain, things are looking much better weather-wise here today. ESPN salutes the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing as it celebrates its 50th anniversary. Well, the rain is over. In fact, there is occasional sunshine peeking through here today. The crowd's somewhat small. The problem now is cold weather and windy weather. But nevertheless, we're set for 325 laps of NASCAR Winston Cup racing on this Monday morning from Atlanta Motor Speedway. The cars are still covered, but before long, they'll be racing. On pit road. We have a red on the Atlanta Motor Speedway at the moment because Steve Park has crashed and the car has ended up in the pit lane, and it was kind of a scary situation because obviously he had no brakes and no steering, and the car was going at a tremendous speed toward pit wall, and those people you see standing back there scattered and headed for cover, and I don't think anybody was injured.
Jimmy Spencer's car was right, he went through the NASCAR W, and just to the left of that sits Jimmy Spencer's car. So that's how close.
It was a scary situation. I don't know whether Steve is out of the car yet or not. I don't think he is.
No, I don't think so either.
He apparently had hit the turn 4 wall pretty hard, Bob, and as you said, he wasn't able to steer it and perhaps had no brakes. Okay, we'll take a look here.
Oh, there it is. Top of your screen, there it is.
He did hit that wall hard. Then again. And then he comes down off the track, and
he probably going to hit it again. He's going to hit it again. He has no brakes.
Wow. There's 3 times, and he hasn't hit the inside wall yet.
And look at all the debris that's flying off. And from another camera, there's another blow. And now he's going to go across the grass. And we're going to see Jimmy Spencer's car sit in there.
See all that water.
And just in front of Spencer's car and in the inside wall. Wow.
And when I said these people scattered, and I don't believe there was any injury to those people, that does not mean that perhaps Steve Park has not suffered some kind of an injury because he is still in the car. Here's the contact with the wall. And he hit that for a ton, too.
Sure did. He had 4 hard licks.
Wow. So our concern at the moment is the condition of Steve Park, and it looks like
practice might be over.
Yeah. They're gonna send these cars back behind the wall, it looks like, while they work on Steve Park. They may have to do something to the top of the car.
And that's exactly why NASCAR went to the 5-and-5 rule. For a couple reasons. Number one, to make the cars a little bit more drivable. But number two, so these cars would not hit those walls with such a tremendous force. They slowed the cars down 5-6 miles per hour, and we can see how hard he hit at 191. At 5 or 6 miles per hour faster, the blow is even harder.
Yep. So we will come back here in just a few moments and keep abreast of this situation involving Steve Park, who has crashed in the late moments of the NASCAR Winston Cup practice session here at Atlanta. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, where a crash involving Steve Park has halted the practice session. They're taking some precautionary measures here. I think they're going to cut the top of the car off and make sure that they lift Steve Park out of the car with the neck brace and the backboard. Jerry, you're much more equipped to talk about this situation than I am.
Well, Bob, unfortunately, the situations that you don't like to have happen in motorsports, and I'm here as a sportscaster. I came down here because the guys at Atlanta South are great people. They do a wonderful job and are very, very talented when it comes to emergency medicine. Unfortunately, I've been involved with these guys before in a few incidents at this racetrack. As you said, Steve Park did hit very, very violently and very hard. The good news is that he is awake in the race car. And as you said, this is purely precaution. Obviously, with that kind of impact, that kind of hit, they cut the roof of the car off. They put a backboard in behind him to be able to support his back and his neck to lift him directly out of the race car to get him in for further evaluation and x-rays. The good thing about what happens in situations like this now with NASCAR is that there is a trauma physician there are paramedics, there are EMTs, everyone, a complete team responds to an incident like this on the racetrack, as opposed to, say, 10 years ago when it wasn't quite that way. And so they have a physician on the scene there. NASCAR officials are there. Paramedics are in the car working with Steve. And we are told that he is awake and knows that they asked him where he was, says, I'm in Atlanta, and that certainly is the good news. Now, while they work on him, the team has to go to get the backup car out. The backup car has already been rolled to the gas pumps, the Pennzoil Chevrolet, owned by Dale Earnhardt, to get that car out and get it ready to possibly get someone in the car to get some laps on the racetrack. Meanwhile, down here toward Turn 1, at the Turn 1 end of pit road, what is left of this Pennzoil Chevrolet has been cut apart. They removed some sheet metal from the front. They have now removed the roof and peeled it back, and they have placed a cervical collar on his neck and a backboard. He was running awfully well. According to our clocks down here, he was 14th quickest in this practice session. And once again, this impact involving rookie Steve Park, who last year came from the Busch Series and was running awfully well in the top 15. A couple of impacts coming across into the inside pit wall. The car coming to rest on pit road. As we take a look in just a moment again at what happened, but they are working with him, and the news we have thus far is he is awake and has responded to the physicians on the scene, and that is wonderful news.
Yes, it is. Well, here is the crash again in replay, and the car just shot right up the racetrack. Look at it.
It's like something happened to the right front.
Yeah, either a tire blew or something happened to the chassis. Here it comes, hits the second time, and then a third time.
Then across the grass and into the pit wall.
You know, that water probably slowed him down, Bob and Benny, as he came across there, which took a little bit of that speed away.
Yes, it did.
Anytime I ever got in that mud, Ned, it felt like it was going faster when it got there. It might have slowed down, but that mud just seems like it picks up 50 miles per hour when you get into it.
Extrication procedures continue on Steve Park as he is awake and alert and hopefully not seriously injured. We'll be right back with more from Atlanta. It is a beautiful sight we see in Atlanta. Cars are rolling onto the racetrack, and we thought maybe this most would never arrive given all the bad weather that we have had here today. It is cold, and that's the reason that the cars sat so long on pit road, warming up the engines and the transmissions. They're going to do 3 laps to not only get everything warmed up, but also to take a look at the track to see if it is in good condition. And from the way it appears up here, it is indeed raceable condition. All right, now here's the Everstart Walmart grid. John Andretti, who'll celebrate his 35th birthday on Thursday, has the pole, and Todd Bodine has his first race start of 98. And here's a look at the drivers who failed to qualify for this event. Bill Parsons subbed for Steve Park after the crash. Jeff Green, Sterling Marlin ends a streak of 332 consecutive races. Dave Marcus, Andy Hillenberg, Chad Little, 9th in the point standings, unable to make the race, and Morgan Shepherd. And the reason these guys had trouble getting in the field is because, of course, they still use the 97 points at this point of the season. Here's a report from Bill Weber. We have an all Pontiac front row, the first time since Michael Waltrip and Rusty Wallace were on the front row at Dover in June of 1991. The green flag is finally about to fall on the Primestar 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Since Texas last year, and he and Andretti rubbed going down the backstretch.
Bodine got very loose coming. He might have touched the wall a little bit after they rubbed together, but he does get back there in third place, and Dick Trickle moves up to second.
Bonnie went on the outside of Mark Martin, trying to take a spot away.
You know, it's pretty impressive that Andretti and Bodine were side by side for that first full lap. And now we see some others trying that high group.
Fighting along with Mark Martin in 6th position. That's rookie Kenny Irwin right up ahead.
Well, we understand that Todd Bodine did not touch the wall when he and Andretti touched over there, so...
And Kenny Irwin goes by Dale Jarrett on the front stretch, takes a spot away. Good qualifying lap for Kenny Irwin this weekend. And a good run so far, already in 4th spot.
Front 3 cars have pulled away from Kenny Irwin. There they are, John Andretti, Dick Trickle, and Todd Bodine. And Bodine has a good run here coming off corner number 4, trying to take 2nd place.
And he goes down on the inside. Looks like he'll have him going into turn 1. He does.
Each race will look back on the past 50 years as NASCAR observes its golden anniversary. The NASCAR 50th anniversary is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola. Roger Penske and Rusty Wallace have combined to become one of the most powerful forces in NASCAR Winston Cup racing today. Since the formation of Penske South in '91, the team has claimed 29 victories. But most fans may not know that Penske and Wallace combined several years ago. In 1980, a 24-year-old Wallace was making his mark in ASA racing in the Midwest. His talents caught the attention of Penske, and it earned Rusty a ride in the Winston Cup Series. He made his Winston Cup debut in the spring race here at Atlanta that year, finishing 2nd. In the modern era, no other driver before or since has done that well in his first Winston Cup race. Also of note that day, the race winner was none other than Dale Earnhardt, his first on a super speedway, one of 5 that led him to the championship that season. Rusty Wallace is in his 430th race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He has 18 poles, 47 wins, and 143 top fives, 429 starts. We're still under caution. There were some cars that made pit stops, but there still will be a caution at lap 25. Bill Weber?
And Bob, we get the 1 to go signal, and Todd Bodine will lead the field back to the green flag after 3 races of pure disgust. Todd right now is thrilled with his race car. This is the same car this new team tested with last November. They had a very fast car, just a very poor qualifying lap. This year, fast car, great qualifying lap. Todd Bodine is leading the Primestar 500. Oh,
a car in the wall in turn 3, hard into the wall. Mike Skinner.
Terrible blow to the right front.
And Benny, it looked very similar to Steve Park's crash. The car just took off right to the outside wall and hit it hard.
He did it. Oh, gosh, he hit it hard. Oh, Skinner, boy, is that good news to see him taking that window net down.
It sure is.
Moving around in there.
I'm trying to get the window net down.
That's the sign to the safety workers that he is okay. Wow. Taking off the clubs. Well, it's good to see that because I saw that thing go up into the wall and hit, and it was hard.
Man. Really good news to see him moving around. As he's moving around, he's not just he's trying to take his helmet off. He's trying to get out of that car. He's probably mad at somebody. That's why he wants to get out so bad.
Benny mentioned during our driver and starting lineup intros that this was his 50th NASCAR Winston Cup race, and it has not been a good one for Mike Skinner, but he's okay.
You can see how far that windshield, and Mike sits down beside the car, but the windshield had been knocked over to the left side. Bill Weber?
Well, early speculation is that Mike Skinner may have had a tire going down and just talked to the crew. That's what he radioed back to them, that it felt to him like he might have blown a tire, and that's what put him in the wall. And judging from what you guys said, it certainly sounds like it could be a possibility, perhaps running over a piece of debris. But that's the preliminary report on Mike Skinner.
As you can see, he has dropped to the ground and obviously is shaken up or has some kind of an injury. Here's from Rusty Wallace is on board. Look way ahead. There it is.
He just came off the bottom groove, as you said, Bob, just shot straight up to the wall, and the leaders are in the pits.
they are. Todd Bodine is in, so is Kenny Irwin. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Well, all these guys were waiting for the mandatory caution. Now they're going to go to work now. Right side of Todd Bodine's Tabasco Pontiac. Swing around to the left side. 4-tire stop. Pulling the lefts off. And it'll be a 4-tire stop for Todd Bodine. Waiting on the tires. Let's go to... Waiting for the jack to drop. Now Todd's away. Jarrett's away. Mark Martin away. Traffic exiting pit road.
Dick Drickle's going to win the battle off pit road. Kenny Irwin might have come out in second spot. And the tire right in the middle of pit road.
Yes, indeed. Now somebody goes out to retrieve it. And here's Rusty Wallace finally going out, and he did not have a good pit stop.
Apparently made some major adjustments on that car because we had talked about that he was going backwards instead of forwards in the lineup out there.
So a crash has brought out our second caution flag of the afternoon. This one involving Mike Skinner, who has been loaded into the ambulance, but shaken up. He'll be taken to the local infield care center and checked over further for more possible injuries. Back with more of the Primestar 500 in a moment. At Atlanta Motor Speedway. During that pit action, I thought I saw Mark Martin and Jimmy Spencer come together as they were trying to get out of the pits, and I think that we'll see it here in the replay.
These Spencer's out in the mud. And
yeah,
look.
Sure do. From the in-car camera.
Sounded like there was some contact.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get back on the racetrack, Mark pulled up beside Spencer and looks over and says, hey.
Sorry about that. Didn't know you were out there. You read sign language? Well, then you know what he said.
Okay, let's check the pit stop summary. Jeremy Mayfield was the leader when the pits began. He's now fourth. Derek Cope has moved from second to first. Irwin third to second. Todd Bodine fourth to third, and Trickle lost 7 positions in those pit stops. Go to Ray Dunlap, who has an update on the condition of Mike Skinner, who crashed early in this race.
Richard, we saw Mike took an awful hard hit out there. Can you tell us how he's doing? Yeah, I went over and talked to him, and you know, he's alert and awake. He's complaining with his neck and his shoulder, and they're going to take him to Georgia Baptist, and from there they're going to do more X-rays. His feet are bruised up. His bruised up's pretty good, but he's okay. Looks like Dale has some sort of a handling problem out there. What's the diagnosis on the 3-car? Well, it's getting better right now. He's been real loose getting in, and they made some adjustments, and he's starting to come back a little now. Okay, good luck. Good thing is Mike Skinner is going to be okay.
ESPN Speedworld today is live at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Winston Cup Primestar 500. RPM tonight, all this week, originates from Homestead, Florida, where the FedEx Championship Series will begin its season next Sunday. There you see the guest that will be on tonight's program at 7 o'clock Eastern Time with your host, John Kernan. In one more lap, we'll be going back to green. Down to Bill Weber.
And I climb up on the top of the pit box to talk to Robert Yates, the car owner for Kenny Irwin. He's talking to his driver, and some of his crew members are talking over tire pressures. Great game for you, Robert, and your young driver, Kenny Irwin.
Yeah, got a ways to go, and I've seen this show so many times. You know, you get, we just don't want to get over our heads. You know, we don't have to win this race today. We just want to get a good, solid run.
And he wants to get back to talking to his driver. They said their biggest problem so far today has been keeping Robert Yates calm. Here's Ray.
Well, Bill, we were talking about what Dale Earnhardt saw out of his race car. You're looking through the piece of film that was actually on the car. Now, the problem is the back side of this actually is sticky. That's what holds it onto the race car. They tried to peel this one off. They got it off, but there's actually another layer underneath, and they're having trouble getting all of that removed from the windshield. Same problem for Bill Elliott.
And I expect as cold as it is today that it makes it that much tougher to peel that stuff off.
Look through Bill Elliott's windshield. Looks pretty good right now.
He made a number of pit stops like Earnhardt on this caution.
So did Ricky Rudd, and both of those cars will be at the tail end of the lead lap. They're 28th and 29th as we go back to racing.
Ben Frankton.
For Speedway, where the shower is over, and we are within a couple of laps of getting the green flag once again. Todd Bodine is the leader of this race. Right behind him is the 28 car of Kenny Irwin. Now let's look through Kyle Petty's windshield. Doesn't look like there are any raindrops on there. You see this onboard camera as a sponsorship from Players Inc. Well, tell me more about that, Ray.
Well, Bob, basically it's designed so that the folks at home will get to know these guys, not just by their name, but by their face. And this is John Burroughs. He plays for the Atlanta Falcons. John, the rumor down here is you're hooked on this NASCAR thing. I tell you what, I'm a race fan for life now. I got to go to my first race last year at Talladega. And, you know, with Players Inc. being involved with the Kyle Petty Racing, or the Petty Racing team, and Kyle Petty, the 44 and 43 car, fantastic, man. Being able to be down here in the pits and pull some tires and throw the sign around, I tell you what, I'm having the time of my life. Well, this guy plays defensive end, but he looks pretty small, doesn't he? Well, really, the deal is he's a lot bigger than me, guys. You know, one of the good things about having a football player down here is if the car falls off the jack, you can just go out there and pick it up for him. I'm telling you what, these guys over here that are doing the crew, the jackmen and stuff like that, they'll throw the car around easier than a football player can. These guys are amazing. But we're having a great time here today. It's just a pleasure for Players Inc. to be involved in this. Well, that's what it's all about, having fun. Now let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
How about that? Athletes hooked on sports, right? Let me show you. You had the jet dryers out a moment ago. It is not raining, folks. What the jet dryers were doing was blowing this debris off the racetrack. These big chunks of rubber that are all over the track. This one was actually matted in the grill of one of the lead cars that came in a moment ago. And, Bill, this kind of debris can cause a problem, right?
Kenny Irwin actually has a hole in his grill. Now, normally you'd come in under caution. You take this lacquer thinner, pour it on this rag, clean off the grill. Then you take the tape and stick it on there. Because it's cleaner, because you use this, the tape will stick better. Unfortunately, they're doing 18-second pit stops. They don't have time to clean the grill. When Kenny comes in next time, they'll just take some tape, slap it up there over the hole, and hope that corrects the problem.
Martin. Yeah, he is slowed, Bob. I don't know what happened, but he is definitely off the pace. Wow. He's running right behind Dale Jarrett, right on his bumper, and now falling back.
Losing positions as here comes Jeff Burton to the inside. So does Bobby Labonte. And wow, that 6 car just dropping back like a rock. There goes Jeremy Mayfield. And he raises his hand and heads for the bottom of the racetrack.
That's sort of an indication of maybe a cylinder being. They might have lost a cylinder.
Oh, he's got a flat tire.
Flat tire, okay.
Down to Jerry Punch.
That is exactly right. Remember, I showed you Mark Martin's tires early. He had a right rear that was really coming down to the cords. That time by, he said, I think I got a tire going down. As you see the Valvoline crew on the wall, waiting for last week's winner to come down pit road. And unfortunately, now he is on the apron, headed in at 45 miles an hour. And they are going to remind him that NASCAR, from right where that line he went by a moment ago, that white line, they measure the speed on pit road at 45 and no more. Here's the Valvoline crew waiting for him to come in. They will change right sides, and I would imagine left sides as well, so not sure which side it is. They will indeed change all 4 tires. So from Victory Lane a week ago to Buffington, Atlanta, those are going to change the right sides only. 9.8 seconds as he is down and away with 2 right sides only.
Tremendous pit stop, but he went a lap down because he had lost a third of a lap before he came into the pits. Robert Presley coming in for an unscheduled stop.
I see Rick Mast leaving. I would imagine he blistered the right rear tire as his car got extremely loose. He probably didn't have a flat tire, but Jerry Punch will be able to tell in just a second.
And here's Todd Bodine also dropping back. Oh, we have a car in the wall up in turn 2.
Jerry Cope, the gum out car.
And he's coming back down across the track, down on the low side of the track now. The leaders are coming around, but he gets out of the way.
Wow, heavy damage to the gum out car.
Boy, what a tough break for Martin Martin.
Yeah.
Having to stop under the green, and now everybody else will be able to stop under caution. Bill Weber?
Just a quick update on Todd Bodine. He has reported to his crew that he has a skip in the engine. It is intermittently missing. This could give them a chance to check it under caution, but a great run could be soured by a potential engine problem for the Tabasco Pontiac.
Well, they talked about a problem in practice before qualifying. Remember, they talked about a fuel pickup problem. and they were able to get that fixed in time to go out and qualify. And what a great qualifying run he had, but hopefully that is not something reoccurring as we see the safety crew over to check out Derek Cope.
Looks like the left side of the car.
Yeah, the left
impact there.
The left side is obviously what made the impact with the wall. I'm guessing he goes in the corner and spins, does a 180 and smacks the wall with the left side.
Well, let's take a look and see what did happen.
See Mark Martin, as you talked about, leaving the pits, and yes, Cope goes in the corner, goes around and smacks the wall with the left side. And that's hitting that wall with probably 175 miles per hour. Riding along with Derek Cope. Let's just listen how much impact we hear.
Oh, tire bleed. What'd you say?
You heard the tire blow.
Yep.
Without any kind of warning.
Wow. All right. We have those on the lead lap on pit road for a lot of service here. And Terry Labonte is in.
Left side, right side already on, left side's on, and away he goes.
Dale Jarrett also on pit road. They're completing his stop. He's waved away. Kenny Irwin also getting the stop completed, and he's down. And will be the first out.
He's right there at the end of pit road, and all he has to do is just accelerate a little bit, and he's out of his pits.
As the rest of the cars, and there we see the tire off Derek Cope's car. That's the tread or the cap off the tire. You see the helmet is off Derek Cope.
Still working to get him out of the car.
That was a very dramatic shot that we saw from the in-car camera there, hearing the tire blow, and then there's no way you can react, is there?
And, you know, Jerry Punch showed us in the track back just how strong these cars are, made out of a 2x3 box tubing, 2x3 box tubing, and all the roller bars, and all that stuff making contact with outside retaining wall. But again, at 175 miles per hour, you're going to have a pretty doggone good lick.
Yep. Mark Martin makes a pit stop, Jerry.
We saw the unscheduled stop a moment ago. They took off 2 right side tires. Neither one of those tires was flat or blistered, so they brought him back in. Now they changed left side tires, and they're hoping they find a problem with the left side. If not, the problem is somewhere else. The vibration has caused Martin to think he may have had a tire going down. We'll check and let you know in just a moment.
So no tire was torn up. That's good news. See him checking the pressure real fast, making sure that he doesn't have a tire equalized. There's 2 tires there, and we saw him check pressure in both those tires. There's the outside tire. And there's an inside tire as well. If those tire pressures are equal, the inside tire flops around and causes a terrific vibration. Now let's go over and check.
Martin had a vibration last week at Las Vegas. However, he did manage to win the race. And that was a transmission problem, I think.
As a matter of fact, he told me that it broke the tail housing on the transmission. Jerry Punch?
Well, they're still looking in. Thus far, everything we've been able to see is that all tires were up, and they're now looking to make sure all the wheel weights were in place. And now Jimmy Finning is talking to his driver, trying to comment that everything is okay. Let's see if I can get over and get a quick comment from Jimmy Finning as to exactly what may have happened with the tires. He's going up to talk to Jack Roush. We'll stand up here and get a comment from Jimmy if we can. Jimmy, what was wrong? Did you have a tire going down?
He thought we had a... He went real bad loose, and he thought he had the right rear go down, but he must got some rubber on there or something, but we couldn't take a chance.
All right, they checked all 4 tires, and apparently they were all 4 up, no blistering, and hopefully the vibration is gone and everything has been settled in the Valvoline pits. And like Jimmy said, you cannot afford to take a chance.
That is for sure. We are under under caution because of a crash involving Derek Cope, which happened just a few minutes ago. Let's ride along and listen once again.
That first sound you heard was the tire coming apart. We saw him tearing the cap off just a moment ago. That first boom was that cap coming off the tire.
We'll take a break and be back with more live coverage of the Primestar 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway in just a moment.
It was about to be really a big deal with the leaders as they were running behind traffic. Dale Jarrett had been running behind Todd Bodine and the 41 car of Steve Grissom. And they come up, Todd Bodine comes up on Grissom, maybe a little bit of contact there. Jarrett had to really get on the binders, and look at Bobby Labonte come into the picture here now. He zooms up through there in the Interstate Battery's Pontiac and passes Jarrett and takes the lead.
Just like he was shot out of a canyon.
And this is the first time that Bobby Labonte has led today. He becomes our 14th different leader. Kyle Petty is out of the race. Ray Dunlap.
Well, he sure is, Bob. The Hot Wheels Pontiac had a pretty good run out there. Seems like it might be a Pontiac day, almost in position for a top 10 for you today.
Yeah, but being in the top 10 is not a Pontiac day. You know, I hate it for Hot Wheels and for Players Inc. This was their special race, and for free prepaid phone cards, all our sponsor. That's back at Neil right there, Goldberg. That's just a little jab right there. But you know, for me, you know, it's still a Ford show. You know, it's pretty obvious that I blow a motor, and it's pretty obvious that this is a Ford-dominated race. And, you know, I hate to stand here and whine about it, but quarter-inch didn't really do much to them, I guess.
Well, guys, over the years, Petty Engineering has 6 victories here. It won't be today, but those Pontiacs are running pretty good.
Well, it's one out front right now, that's for sure. Bobby Labonte.
Indeed, with the Ford of Dale Jarrett second, the Ford of Jeff Burton third, the Ford of Jeremy Mayfield fourth, and the Ford of Rusty Wallace fifth. So Bobby Labonte carrying the Pontiac colors here, maybe to victory. Back in a moment. Mark Martin just brushed the wall.
And he's coming into the pits.
There's 6 laps to go, and Martin has to make a unscheduled pit stop, probably for a tire change.
Mark's had a tough day here today after one of the biggest days of his career last week at Las Vegas.
See, the right rear tire is flat, actually flat on that car.
We're just thankful to get it back to the pits.
Yeah, in one piece.
Oh,
Oh, man. When it rains, it pours down.
Now they got to somehow get the jack back around the car.
By the way, those green rims that they're putting on there, those are from Chad Little's. And off the, oh, look at this. Dick Trickle has passed Rusty Wallace. And that moves him to 5th position. Trickle's best finish this year was last week at Las Vegas 16th. And now Wallace takes the spot back.
Now, Trickle is slowing down, isn't he? No, I guess not. Thought he was.
I tell you, there's a lot of cars out there with tires that are getting very worn right now.
Rusty has 5th now as Trickle drops back a little bit. There's Jeff Burton, or rather Jeff Bodine in the 7 car running 24th, 2 laps down. And Johnny Benson goes a lap down in 9th spot.
Remember, he was up there among the leaders a while back. And a car here at Lake Speed here on the front straightaway is in no caution.
Wow.
He's down out of the way.
What a great job he did.
No caution.
360 and kept going.
And we see the right rear tire is gone on the car, and we see the damage it's done to the quarter panel. The Cartoon Network Ford, the tire came apart, just ripped the quarter panel almost off.
There are less than 3 laps to go, and NASCAR is not going to wave the caution. Lake Speed is well down off the racing surface in the track apron, and it gives the fans here in Atlanta a green flag finish.
Bobby Labonte will get the white flag the next time around. Trying to put another lap on Ted Musgrave, car number 6.
And Burton is in the wall.
Well, tire situation. There
and
you see.
the caution will come out, and the race will end under caution. Here's Bobby Labonte taking the white and the caution. He's going to win his 6th NASCAR Winston Cup event and his 3rd at Atlanta, and the Primestar 500 will end under caution.
I don't think the pace car is even going out to pick up the field. It's sitting on the end of pit road. But Bobby Labonte is on the backstretch. And look at Jeff Burton's.
Well, that was the 2nd incident. Here's the first, Lake Speed, coming off corner number 4.
You see the right rear tire, and he goes up, smacks the wall. Now, as the tire starts coming apart, it will just disintegrate.
Round he goes.
Well, he didn't do a 360. He did a half spin, but he gathered it in and drove on. And here comes the checkered flag, and it's official as Bobby Labonte has won here at Atlanta, his 2nd straight win. He's won 3 of the last 4 Atlanta races. Bill?
Jimmy Maycar, I talked to you on Sunday morning. You said it's not the Pontiac, it's the driver that does so well here, and he did it again.
Yeah, I tell you, it's true. I mean, that little boy can drive a race car when it comes to a lot of racetracks. He's a great race car driver. This is one of the places he has fun driving, and we have fun with this racetrack. It's probably our most favorite racetrack. It's been mine for a long time. You know, things just came together for us when they needed to. We struggled a little early. The car wasn't quite right. It was a little pushy, and then it was a little loose, and so we just kept dialing around with it, and good Lord blessed us that there at the end we got the combination right, and we were able to do what we had to do.
I teased you yesterday about waiting to the last race of the season to end this year, last race of the season to win, and this year you did it early.
Yeah, boy, that's a good feeling. That really is. I mean, it takes, like I told you, it took a lot of pressure off right now. I mean, you know, we're putting that pressure on ourselves to win. We got that over with. I'm hoping this is just the first of a few for this year for us.
It's the first one for sure. Bobby Labonte wins again in Atlanta.
Here are the results now. The yellow arrows indicate drivers who led a lap, and the double arrows beside Kenny Irwin's name indicated that he led the most. And look at Kevin LePage. He was in the top 10, had to make a late stop for tires, dropped down to 14th, 2 laps down. Dale Earnhardt finished in 13th. And Jeff Burton has got out of his car and is on the racing surface.
Yeah, he drove that car around a couple of times with all those sparks flying, and he brought it across the start-finish line here the last time to be sure he got scored that lap, and then he got down there in turn 1. I guess that's about as far as it would go.
We had 14 different leaders in this race and 29 lead changes. Here are the updated NASCAR Winston Cup points. Jeremy Mayfield moves to 2nd. Then it's Earnhardt, Elliott, Terry, and Bobby 5th and 6th. Jeff Gordon down to 7th. And Mark Martin, Bobby Hamilton, and Jimmy Spencer, the top 10 in Winston Cup points after the 4th event of the year. Bobby Labonte has circled the track and is headed down pit road and into victory circle. Well, this kid is good here, isn't he?
He sure is. I mean, last fall, his performance was flawless, and today it looked like early on he had some problems, but at the end, he was definitely the man to beat.
In 7 races here in the number 18, he has 3 wins, a 2nd, and a 4th. This win comes in his 161st career start. And Pontiac rolls into a NASCAR Winston Cup victory lane for the first time in 1998. Here's Jerry Punch.
Bobby Labonte in victory lane. Pontiac wins at Atlanta, and Bobby's trying to get unhooked. Hey, Bobby's smiling. Congratulations.
Man, that was awesome, man. This thing, oh, man, I couldn't believe it. We weren't very good there for a while, but I tell you, this thing, these guys did a great job. I mean, they just worked so hard. I like to thank everybody, Interstate Batteries, Shell Oil, Coca-Cola, Easy Care. I'm going to miss somebody. Husqvarna, Pontiac, Goodyear had a great tire today. I knew last year, I was hoping we were going to win one before the last race last year, and I don't think we ought to have any practice anymore. Hey, I got to say hi to my wife, Donna, and Tyler and Madison. They didn't make it this trip.
All right, Bobby Labonte victorious for the 6th time in his career. Bob?
Congratulations to Bobby Labonte, who has won our rain-delayed show. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.